People of the internet, Andrew Schulz just can't seem to stop running his mouth. Because last week he went on the Joe Rogan Experience and he was on his show Flagrant and he trashed all of the Rogansphere haters. And I thought that would be the end of it. But it's not, because Andrew is back at it again and he has more to say about the backlash he has received. So let's go.
It's been going on for thousands and thousands of years.
Bro.
Do you know what I mean?
We solved it, bro.
So hostages home, I'm top tier.
You're welcome, yo. I just want to let everybody know you're welcome. Okay, Flagrant went out to the Middle East, and then all of a sudden there's a hostage agreement. There's a peace deal. I'm just saying.
Now, what we were told was,
I'm just saying.
This is what we were told.
Yep.
We were told that if y'all comedians didn't go out there, your family was going to be hostages. That's what we were told.
Thank you for letting them go, by the way. I really appreciate you. I hope you like the jokes. Thank you for letting them go.
That's what we were
Thank
told,
you for letting me have
bro.
my daughter back.
What happened with that, man?
Bro, that shit was so... People are so fucking stupid. We were talking about this on Flagrant, but like, I was thinking about it this whole week, and I just hear all these people trying to justify it back home. They're like, America does bad things. America does bad things. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, you either have fans in other places or you don't. Mm-hmm. I will perform for my fans wherever the fuck they are in the world. People don't decide where they're born. They don't decide the laws in the countries where they're from, but they do play a role in me being able to like literally live my dreams. They watch the special just like anybody else.
So you did it for the fans.
What was the
backlash, though? Tell me what was...
Well, we're getting the new excuse. The others didn't seem to stick. So now, forget everything he said before. He did it for the fans. And if you're mad comedians, you comedians that don't want to be involved with Joe Rogan's propaganda campaign, is because you don't have fans and you were uninvited. Like that Alanis Morissette said, you're uninvited. That's the reason now. You see, Andrew has gone through a lot of things. We're liars, we're bitter, we're unsuccessful, we're haters, we're mentally ill, right? And now the comedians that attacked him are people without fans. Sorry, Stavros. Sorry, Santino. With, I think it's a bigger podcast than Joe Rogan's Bad Friends. Sorry, you don't have fans. And did you know something? Andrew's Flagrant podcast, he's supposed to be this big superstar, right? It gets like 100 to 200,000 views. Barely. His views are dropping dramatically. He's going to be eating his words soon. But let's give him more to feed on.
What was the backlash?
The backlash is just people who weren't invited and that don't even have fans outside of Brooklyn saying that they wouldn't go. What a sacrifice. You can't perform outside of fucking Greenpoint.
I keep hearing it was a freedom of speech thing. Like, they don't have freedom of speech over there.
First of all, I don't give a fuck about no other country's freedom of speech. We're the only country with freedom of speech.
But did y'all have to sign a contract that said y'all couldn't talk about them?
Charlemagne. They probably have restrictions.
Yeah.
I put my set out. I put all the...
Can you believe that? He's dodging the contract question. They probably have restrictions. Oh, you didn't read the contract, you just signed it. And if you were bigger than badder and you could do what you want and you didn't have to read the restrictions, then why is your whole set? Like, you spoke their language, you knew their culture, you knew their slang, you even knew what kind of women that Saudi men went after. Tell me again you didn't read those restrictions. You served your shit on a silver platter on your knees to the king over there, acting like he didn't. Oh, yeah, restrictions? Well, they might have. Ugh. Come on now, man. This guy is just so full of shit.
The local shit that I did, you can go see if it looks like
in?
You can go see it. It's up on YouTube right now. I bet you nobody else put their shit out. I bet you that. I bet you none of them other pussies
I've
put
seen
their
you in
shit
those
out.
other countries, and I've seen you make
that's
jokes
the thing.
about them.
So everybody who's making this stuff about like the restrictions, like what you can or can't say,
Yeah.
all that restriction shit is people trying to not be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just trying to not be the ones accountable. It's like your manager, and I knew this because I performed in the Middle East before, and they give you these things like, don't talk about this, don't talk about, and I'm just like, guys, they all are educated in America. Like, they understand shit, they understand the comedy, they speak English, like, they get it.
You can make jokes about them, you can make jokes about their leader, but people think you can't.
They think you can't.
Got you. Like,
But you can't.
They literally was.
You know, Andrew's just acting like he walks on water. Because if there's one place that I don't want to think I can't, or make a miscalculation, or just like stick my toe over the line, you know, to see what it's like, it's Saudi Arabia. Andrew's acting like Saudi Arabia is your friends you grew up with, you know, and played in the yard. You know, he's just acting like it's cool. Yeah, Saudi Arabia don't care. They don't. I mean, the contract listed those restrictions, and you're acting like you don't know if there are restrictions, but you signed the contract. So either you didn't read it or you're lying. And my guess is you're lying. Second, Mr. Big Balls, right? Over here just thinking like, the Saudi government, who cares? We're cool, you know, we're homie. Dude. We're not making up restrictions. We're not making up a lack of freedom of speech. We got a whole bunch of suitcases with bodies in it, a body in it chopped up. That tells us what they do. Come on, Andrew. You can't be so arrogant that you just like don't give a fuck about the Saudi government's restriction. Everybody over there did. I don't get it, man. This guy just takes it to a new low. The more I watch him.
Like, yo, you probably be beheaded. And
somebody got to cover their ass. So there, in case you do something.
But yeah, 3/4 the cloth.
Facts.
Yeah. Why would you have your ass out? Now, I don't mean disrespectful.
I'm just saying.
Why would you have your ass out?
I know you might tempt somebody. You might tempt somebody. You know what I mean?
I know you ain't say that over there.
Oh, of course.
Also, on another note, notice how Andrew finds Charlemagne's booty tempting. You know what they say about the Rogansphere? Just more evidence. That was the first thing that came to his mind was Charlemagne's booty.
Of course.
What?
Bro,
You made gay jokes?
Bro.
Yeah.
9/11 jokes. Bin Laden jokes.
What?
The whole
what?
This is when I go.
It's on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go wild.
He's sitting there acting all cool like he did whatever he wants. You know what he did, though, right? We have the other video that we watched his special from there. He didn't say nothing about the king. What he did was he took all of Saudi's hatred, all of their racism, all of their prejudice, all of their shitting against women, and he put it in a joke that he basically made a comedy special for Saudi men that exactly describes all the things they hate, the countries they hate, and how they treat women. And that's what is special. He's sitting there saying like he just went up and said, fuck the king, you know, and he said, Saudi people are pee-pee poo-poo. He's acting like he did that, right? He just dissed them. No, he didn't. He dissed all the people they don't like. He dissed women, right? You see how the con man is? He acts a certain way. You just have to look at the facts. Don't listen coming out of his mouth. Look at the facts. And he's just lying more and more and more here. He's just continuing to lie. I don't know why he doesn't stop talking, because they're publishing his lies. He is publishing his own lies, and he thinks he's bigger than it. But he's contradicted himself every time he's spoken about this. And guess what? It's always a new excuse. I'm just waiting. The only thing he hasn't done is told us that we're racist. That's it. That's the only thing he hasn't done yet. He's literally called us and the comedians that turn their backs on Rogan everything under the sun except racist. You know? After that, what's he going to do? We can't be all of them. We can't be all the excuses. We're only one person, and you're one person. You can't be all of those crazy things. You can't have done all of those crazy things. So you see Andrew now is running out of options, And the only thing he has left is to call us racist. Even though it's not based on race, it's based on a regime that is cruel to people. Like all other governments. I don't want to just make it seem like they're the only one. Like, come on now, they're all fucking shit up. But let's see what else Andrew's got.
I came in. When did it go up?
We just put it out now.
Okay.
We just put it out right now.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like, this is, I mean, I had one that was quick. What are you looking up? You looking up the video? He wants to see the video.
I gotta watch that later, man.
But no, this is the thing. It's like they like humor out there. This is the thing. A lot of people in the West, they just have this it's pretty kind of racist if you ask me. They just have this complete bastardized view of people in the Middle East, right? And they just can't conceptualize that these guys go to fucking school at Tennessee State University.
Yeah.
They're watching only American comedy, only American content. They're used to our humor. They don't get to decide the rules in their country.
Yeah,
they weren't fortunate and privileged enough to be born into a fucking democracy. We're the only ones with free speech, by the way. Canada don't have free speech. They're arresting comedians in England for jokes.
Okay, so Andrew's excuse now is all the Saudi Arabian people live in America and only watch American things. Is that why they're all living in Saudi Arabia, where you performed, and they were in Saudi Arabia, living in Saudi Arabia, seeing you perform? Do you see how stupid this is? Do you see how stupid? Basically, Saudi Arabians are basically Americans. They know our comedy. They know our humor. They know everything. They know it all. Rocky! It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing here, folks? How, you know the question? I was never a big fan of Schulz, didn't watch him. Now I talk about him because this is what we're here for, folks. Admit it, this shit's good. This drama's good. Anyways. But I want to ask you guys, why did you make this guy famous? Why? And I get it. Taste is subjective, and I'm not even saying that. But could you not see the snake oil pouring out of his pores onto the ground, seeping through his clothing? How did you ever trust this guy? It's insane. He is literally just loop-de-looping about everything.
They put on Facebook, like, those motherfuckers in Canada, the truckers protested and they locked up their bank accounts. Like, this idea that, like, we're the norm, we're the outlier.
Well, let's see if we can hold on to our free speech. Your boy don't seem to want it.
Yo, do you, bro? I'm just kidding. No, I'll fight tooth and nail for free speech, obviously. I don't ever want that. I think it's really important for us, 100%. Yeah. But just this idea that, like,
it's our whole livelihood.
Yes, here. But my point is, like, these people.
No, my point is, like, he just said he would fight tooth and nail for free speech. He said that Saudi Arabians live in America. They understand everything American. They're up to date on our comedy and everything. And once again, he said he would fight tooth and nail for free speech, but he went over there and did a Saudi Arabian set. Why didn't you do your material over that? Why didn't you tell them how your sperm don't work like you did in America? Why don't you tell them how you disappointed your wife because your male junk doesn't function properly? Why didn't you tell them that stuff? Huh? You didn't. Do you see the lie here? Sorry, forgive me. Lies, plural. He's lying again. He's an advocate for free speech. He's a free speech guy. It's a me, free speech guy, right? But yeah, he didn't do his material over there. He had to write something new to please the king, the regime, the paycheck that he was given. It's pretty obvious to tell a liar. Their story changes constantly, and we've got that, right? But when someone always has to proclaim what they are all the time, Andrew's always having to proclaim what he is. It usually means they ain't nothing of that, because he told you how he really feels. He said, I don't care about free speech. I don't care about all that shit. I'll go to where my fans are. And what he was saying is, I don't give a shit about any of y'all. I will go to where the money leads me. That's it.
Are not beneath you performing for them. That's what I didn't like with the whole rhetoric. And like, if you really want to look at that purity test, basically all the people being critical, they're not saying it, but they are saying you can perform in white people countries.
White people countries.
Because name the country that's not a white country that has the rules that are okay for you to perform in.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, does India have free speech? No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do all these other places, and then
But you probably could go over there and get the same jokes off and nobody would care. I think a lot of this is narrative and perception.
They're arresting comedians in India.
Because I remember being,
I'm going to India. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to all.
Well, folks, there it is. There it is. Everything is just, like footnotes at this point. He has completed the circle. We are racist now. I mean, even though we had all types of comedians from all different cultures and countries saying this, we're racist against Saudis. And, I mean, if we listen to the complaints of the people, none of them had to do with racism. It was out of fear of what they do to people. Just like the fear you had that you had to write a whole set for Saudi Arabian people. And I get it. Some of you say, oh, that's what he does. Does he? Does he? Does he travel around America writing different sets all the time? No, that's impossible unless you're Josh Johnson. Then I would believe it. I would believe if you were Josh Johnson, I would believe it. Is that his name? I think so. Josh, the guy, the comedian Josh. That guy writes a new set every week. Andrew, no, he's too busy looking in the mirror and thinking about his infertility. Oh, here we go.
All these places, because wherever I have fans, I'm going to perform.
They're arresting Indian comedians in India. They're not going to arrest you if you go over there and get.
They're not going to arrest me anywhere, except America, probably. That would be the only place.
Yeah.
But like, they're not going to do it because
you have been critical of Trump, and you're not supposed to be. Once you was on his side,
I will compliment him.
That's what he doesn't like the most.
Nah, if he gets it right, that picture is crazy. He looked like a balloon.
Okay, another point about this, this backlash. He was participating and distancing himself from Trump because of the backlash, right? Right? And now he's mad at those comedians for doing the same thing he did when it didn't. And he said it wasn't looking good. This is not what I voted for. I didn't want this to happen. That's the same shit people are saying about the Rogansphere. Whoa! You could basically, Trump and Rogan, they're doing the same thing. They're both right for people that don't like them. They're doing a little more than expected, and a little more, as other people that don't like these people would say, extreme things than they thought when they were supporting them. It's the same kind of narrative. And it's funny that Andrew can do it. You notice that it's always with these people, they'll point you out, all of this stuff, call you hypocrite, tell you to be loyal. But when they do something, it's different, right? It's different.
That picture is insane.
He looked like
But if he does something good, I'm going to say
that's what the guy doing your colonoscopy sees. The guy doing your colonoscopy sees.
Yo, everyone gets these jokes. Trump is going to get him. Now, if he does good shit, I'm going to call it out. If he does whack shit, I'm going to call it out, which I've always said.
That's what being an American is about. I am interested in the Saudi Arabia thing, though, because I told y'all.
Tell me.
No,
Ask all the questions.
I didn't tell y'all because we edited it last week. But
I had to make sure we were going to come back.
I know. I get it.
We had to get back to America.
But we were when I was in Abu Dhabi, which is another place people have a lot of
United Arab
misconceptions
Emirates.
about.
Of course,
right?
Yes.
But when I was in Abu Dhabi, I remember Anthony Anderson was there, and he had just came back from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And the woman who was with him was like a woman who I guess handles like the entertainment and stuff over there. Yeah. So she was like, oh, Charlemagne, and she was talking to me, and Anthony and all of them were talking to me about how Saudi Arabia is the they already leaning into sports, but now they're about to be leaning in entertainment. And then you hear other people talk about the fact that their oil reserves are depleting. So they got to find other ways to get money. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just saying what they say.
Maybe.
But we do know they are making a large investment into sports and entertainment. That we know.
It might.
Why did the comedians get so much flack, but golf doesn't? They're talking about doing a basketball league. I don't know if this is true too.
Okay. Just want to point out Charlemagne's horse shit, right? I just want to point out Charlemagne's. He could have named some sports where that's true. But the fact that he said golf, do you remember Live Golf versus the PGA? Do you remember when they announced Live Golf? Do you remember the backlash? You remember like McIlroy and how people and all the backlash people got for leaving the PGA for Live Golf for taking, it is the same thing. They got paid exorbitant amounts of money to play for the Live Golf, the Saudi Arabian league. And it was a brutal war. It was a brutal war. There were speeches about it during press conferences. There were statements. So I'm just saying, you see how these guys just run their fucking mouths and they don't know what they're talking about? That's why they're liars. Because he doesn't even know how big this shit was between the PGA and Live. It's just crazy. There's a whole Netflix series. I think there's a whole Netflix series on it, Full Swing or whatever. I think there's a season where all that shit was happening. Just watch that. Jesus.
They got WWE, they got UFC, they got all the shit.
UFC, they're talking about doing a basketball league. I think I saw with Braun and Maverick. I don't know if that's true. I'm just telling you what they've been saying. Why did the comedians get the flack?
Here's why. This is my opinion. And this is where like comedians can take accountability. We have politicians on our podcast. And when you have politicians on your part, you know this more than anybody. Once you have a politician on your platform, you enter yourself into the political mudslinging discourse.
Okay.
And politics is a zero-sum game. So, for example, it's like if Charlemagne has liberals on the podcast and you back Kamala and whatever, you are seen by the people that are your opposition as evil. And any chance they get to show that you're a hypocrite or show that you're bad or you do anything, they do it because that is the political game. In a game of power, you use whatever you can to maintain power and to make your opposition look bad. Mm-hmm. So we had the politicians on the pod, which I don't regret, but we had the politicians on the pod.
Say it again.
I don't regret it.
I don't.
So now we're getting the new excuse of politics. So you're saying it's because you're either a Republican or a Democrat, and thus, because of that, when you did politics, it's because of how we vote, why we hate you. I'm not Republican or a Democrat. I don't participate in politics. So, the problem is there's all this footage of you being a fucking dumbass and you being a liar and you being a con man and you being a hypocrite and you trashing people, shitting on people. There's all this footage of you doing that, Andrew. That is what we're basing this on. But it's just so typical of this fucking scumbag that he constantly has to divert all of the attention. That's what con men do. They're great at diverting your attention. They're great at diverting responsibility. And they're great at diverting away from the facts and the accountability that they should take. If Andrew doesn't stop, you can only act like this for so long with your fans. You can only do this before you either got to change, improve, or people are going to leave you. And we could already see that the views on Flagrant are down. I mean, I haven't checked his rating on his special. Andrew usually does better than the rest. But I just don't see how Andrew can continue. And at the end of the day, you know what's going to happen to Saudi Arabia? This is what's going to happen. Comedians are going to go out there because they're going to offer a shitload of money, right? Comedians are going to go out there, they're going to offer a shitload of money, and they're going to make their money, they're going to get rich. But the only people there are going to be the people that the king allowed them to go to their show. and you're going to lose your fan base in America because they're going to get caught up. They're going to be going to Saudi Arabia. They're going to ignore their things, right? And Saudi Arabia is going to become the new casino circuit tour. And guess who's on that tour now? Guess who's on the casino circuit tour now? Bert Kreischer. Just saying. I looked at his tour. He was playing a lot of casinos. And that's what Saudi Arabia is going to go. But it'll stay flowing because just like, you know, Las Vegas, when you do like a residency or they're going to pay you a lot of money because they have a lot of money. And you're going to generate them money because the people there are going to come and see your show. But you're never going to be remembered in comedy. Andrew is always, and the same with Bill Burr. It's unfortunate for Bill Burr because he didn't have to do this, but they're going to go down as sellouts. They are going to go down as sellouts, and people aren't even going to remember their comedy. They're going to remember what they did. This one festival is going to be, it's much bigger than you think.
Don't regret it, and you shouldn't.
Not for a fucking second.
That.
Not for a second. So, but we had one. So we have to be accountable for the fact that like now we're part of the political discourse. And the political discourse is how can I call you a hypocrite or how can I say that you're not living up to my purity test? And then it launched into this whole thing with the Saudi fest. But like it really has nothing to do with Saudi. It has to do with the fact that like there are these political figures. We're not political, we're comedians, but there are these people that are in that conversation. How can we malign them? How can we do it? Different people got different things. Bill Burr was getting criticism for one thing.
These are just more lies. It's so frustrating to watch him because the whole thing was about Saudi Arabia and how they treat people. And you know, you can expand on that, right? And that's the whole thing. And here's the thing. If you watch the videos, if you read the articles, they were all getting shit for that thing. Most people, the most relevant thing in people's minds right now with Saudi Arabia is Jamal Khashoggi. Everyone got shit for that. And 9/11. 9/11. Those were the two big ones. You see how it's not about Saudi. It's about the chance he took, the risk. He's in this political battlefield and he now has to take on shit talking. I got motherfuckers in my comments shitting on me all day. Is that political too? No, it is all based on Saudi and the things they did in the US and the things they did in Turkey. Continuing, not to mention a genocide in Yemen that the U.S. was also funding and participating in, just like the other one going on right now. It's crazy how that works, huh? Whew. The world, man. I say it all. Every video. Losing faith, my friends.
Bill Burr got criticism because, to your point,
we got like zero criticism. Yeah,
because
like,
they don't expect shit from y'all. They expect y'all to do that. They don't expect Bill Burr to do it. They're like, Bill Burr, no, you're supposed to be our liberal woke champion. You know, we got you on this pedestal, and they was like, what? You're over there performing for the Saudis? And it's not Bill's fault, but it's just that they look at Bill in a pure way.
And he maybe you could argue like his more recent material presented one thing. I think people were frustrated with him even before because I think that, you know, Bill's like one of the most prolific ever, and he was doing a lot of like women are annoying jokes that he's the best at. And I think he built
his WNBA reality show jokes.
He's phenomenal.
Top tier.
But
once again, nobody, not ever, not in the history of comedy, not in the history of the last 2, 3, 4 years, have we heard that complaint. Now the funny thing is they're blaming that he's woke. He was their woke champion. But if anybody, right? If anybody would have complained about WNBC, and if we look, WNBA, sorry, WNBC. Anyways, WNBA, it would be woke feminists, or, you know, that whole thing. The woke people are the ones that usually complain about those things to do with women, right? So it doesn't even make sense. Do you see? If you break down his argument, it doesn't make sense.
I think he built up a right-wing audience who maybe kind of like sided with a lot of that sentiment. And then when he started maybe leaning left, which you can do as you feel different things in the world. You're allowed to change. You're a human being at the end of the day. But when he started to lean left with the material, all those people on the right felt kind of like abandoned and felt criticized maybe by him. So they were waiting for a moment where he was a hypocrite.
And then Bill got the look too, though. 'Cause I mean,
Okay, let me give you a life lesson. If anybody ever takes this long to explain to you something, they're lying to you. Because if you remember at the beginning, it was because you didn't have fans. Then it was a whole bunch of other shit. Then it's because we're racist. And now it's because of Bill Burr's WNBA jokes. And basically, we didn't like that he hated on women. Do you see? But for the benefit of science and also history, we're going to see how many other things. And if you happen to see Andrew come up with another excuse, you have to hit the blunt. Or if you're a drinker, you have to take a shot. And if you don't take any of that, you have to hold your bladder because you're drinking water and you probably got to pee. So, let's go.
you hear what comes out of his mouth, but when you see him, you know what I mean? Bald head, white guy, you like, yo, that's one of us, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He hates his wife like I hate mine.
Exactly. So you see his look, you hear one good WNBA reality joke, you're like, I got him. And then when the whole manosphere, bro thing, whatever they was trying to create come up, you just lump him in that.
Yeah.
And then you hear him and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, buddy.
Yeah.
You know? So I can see why that could have been confusing. I can see how both sides could have been confused.
I felt bad for there's certain people I felt bad for, man.
Like who?
I felt bad.
You can tell Charlemagne has the facts on this, and you can tell in a roundabout way that he's trying. He just said it, right? He's like, I could see both sides. You could tell in a roundabout way that he wants to press Andrew. And I think by the furrow, the frown on his brow, he wants to press him and be like, but he's kind of going, but look, this is what's going on, without insulting Andrew, because even he knows that Andrew's full of shit.
For Aziz a little bit, because Aziz really got canceled on some bullshit back in the day. This was like height of Me Too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Like some girl pulled some bullshit and he got fucked up.
I remember.
And he was just coming back. Like he got a movie coming out, like, and he just took this gig and they were doubling down. Like Kimmel kind of went at him.
At Aziz?
Yeah.
I missed all that. I'm gonna be honest with you, this was like a comedian civil war. Because it was mostly comedians I saw criticizing other comedians and comedians sticking up for other comedians. It didn't really get much traction outside of the comedy world. Bro. It started to,
That's what I
but
tell,
then people realized
bro,
like, nah, this shit ain't got the heat we thought it did.
That's what I was saying on Flagrant. I'm like, yo, this is nowhere on my timeline.
It wasn't. It started to.
But listen, this is what I tell comedians. Like, so like a lot of the comedians that were like involved in this are operating in like the euphoric stage of a stand-up career, right? It's like they just started posting clips and they got a fan base and they toiled in obscurity for decades. They got a fan base. They're the unsung hero of their fans. Like I remember this stage where like they're like, yo, you're the truth. Nobody else knows you but us. They could tour, they could make tons of money, but they haven't transcended into like pop culture yet.
Yeah.
And what happened is
only a few do though.
Well, that's true. But what happened is this comedy festival kind of pushed into what they thought was pop culture for a second. So they started getting all this hate. And I think a lot of them were like, oh my God, I worked my whole life to have fans and now it looks like all my fans hate me. They don't.
Do you realize this? Just people on his level, Mark Norman, Stavros, one of the main complaints, like people on his level have complained about this. People not on his level, bigger than him, Mark Maron, complained about this. Corolla, the Man Show guy, he complained about this. All kinds of people complained about this. Journalists, news outlets. Do we all have this inferiority complex? Is that what you're saying? Even though media companies, comedians bigger than you, entertainment stars, musicians bigger than you, they all said something about this. But do you see how this happens? He tries, this is what I get about the explaining. is they explain so much because they're trying to convince you, because they already know that you're lying. Now you need to convince them that you're not lying. So you just keep explaining. Now, look, we watched a little bit further. Do you see his face? Does that look like a guy that believes him? Now look at Andrew's eye contact. Andrew isn't looking at him explaining because he can't look in his eyes when he explains because he knows he's lying. He's looking off in a distance. Watch the body language. He knows. Charlemagne knows the beef. He's trying to act like he doesn't, but then he brings up important facts like he watched these bigger channels' videos and the coverage on it. He knows. He knows what up. And look at his face. This guy. The realization that your business partner is a fucking liar. It makes you go.
Realize that it's this fake outrage thing. In 2 weeks, nobody will give a fuck. A week from today, nobody will mention the Saudi Comedy Festival.
You're not mentioning it now.
That's what I'm saying.
We're giving it more. We're giving it another week.
Well, I had to get back safe.
I'm with you.
I had to be alive.
I'm with you. We're giving it another week. I also will say, too, to all of those new up-and-coming comedians, if you're getting fake outrage, you've arrived. You know what I'm saying? It's just the reality of the situation. It's when they don't give a fuck is when there's an issue, okay? If they're on your timeline and they're giving you fake outrage, cool.
But they don't realize that, like, those people are not their fans. They're the people that are, like, perennially outraged. So they think it's their fans that are all leaving them, and the internet can make you feel like that. Once you've gone through enough, like, internet shit like we have for fucking decade, you realize it's all bullshit.
Numb to it.
Exactly.
It
but
don't
they're
even
not.
matter.
It's like the first time for them.
Yeah.
So they freaked out. They're like, I'm pulling out of the festival. I'm giving my money back. I'm donating it to charity.
And guess
like,
what? Nobody gives a fuck.
And nobody cares. And now you lost all your money.
Oh, you lost all your money and nobody's patting you on the back. There's no reward for, you doing what these motherfuckers have forced you to do. All of these people will get online, have all of this outrage towards you. Then when you do what you want them to do, they'll say, no, you never should have took it in the first place. We know who you are now. Man, get the fuck out of here. And I don't know who they are.
Guys, luckily, we can rely on facts. He's saying that his fans aren't leaving him. Do you see this downward trajectory here? Do you see this downward trajectory here? I think this is... I don't know what this would be. Maybe his special? No, that's October. When is it? Oh, that's 2024. I don't know. I think that was his special, right? But do you see how this show, Flagrant, is getting less? I don't have to explain it to you. Maybe how the graph system works, which I could do. Going down means bad, okay? Now figure it out, right? Do you see the lies? Flagrant's not doing good. I really don't, hold on a second here. Let's just... Oh, it didn't work. Anyways, we won't go into depth, but do you see what I'm saying here? He's the one losing viewers, and they're blaming it on up-and-coming comics. Okay, yes, some probably up-and-coming young comics did complain about it, but that isn't the ones that made the news. You're talking about Andrew Santino, who's bad. Let's look at this too. Okay, hold on. Here we go. We're just none of this. We're just not doing it. We're not dealing with this today, folks. Here are the top podcasts. Let's see if we can find Flagrant. Well, we see Theo Vaughn. Okay, we get Theo Vaughn here. Who else do we got? Kyle Kuklinski. Bad Friends, number 32. And this is just YouTube. This isn't the Spotify or anything. I think charts or the combined charts. This is just YouTube views. There's Bad Friends right there. Before Flagrant. You could consider top 50 YouTube podcasts. Well, actually, that's the fact right there, Facts! What Andrew is missing. Let's continue and see if we find Flagrant. We're still scrolling. We're still scrolling. We're still scrolling. There's Tim Dillon. We're still scrolling. Where are you, Andrew? You're not even in the top 100 YouTube when your other comedy friends, Theo Vaughn, Tim Dillon, and the up-and-coming comic Andrew Santino are on. Right? Do you see the hypocrisy here? You may be saying you're talking too much. No, I'm pointing out everything. History must not forget that Andrew Schulz is full of shit. Okay? We just cannot forget that now. Just doing a little quick through. Dang, breaking points. Breaking points. Look how good that's doing. That's crazy. I might have skipped a comedian. And there's Tony Hinchcliffe right there. And there's Joe Rogan for YouTube. Now, consider it. Everyone in the Rogansphere is in the top 100, but you, Andrew Schulz.
So they think it's their fans that are all leaving them, and the internet can make you feel like that. Once you've gone through enough like internet shit like we have for fucking decade, you realize it's all bullshit.
Numb to it.
Exactly.
It don't even matter.
It's like the first time for them.
Yeah.
So they freaked out. They're like, I'm pulling out of the festival. I'm giving my money back. I'm donating it to charity.
And guess what? Nobody gives a fuck.
And nobody cares. And now you lost all your money.
Oh, you lost all your money and nobody's patting you on the back. There's no reward for, you doing what these motherfuckers have forced you to do. All of these people will get online, have all of this outrage towards you. Then when you do what you want them to do, they'll say, no, you never should have took it in the first place. We know who you are now. Man, get the fuck out of here. And I don't know who they are.
You're never going to make it. You got to be unapologetic. And that's the thing that, like, I think on Brilliant it's been great. On Flagrant it's been great. We've never been the virtue signaling motherfuckers.
No.
We're assholes through and through. No. We're brilliant idiots through and through. So
even when I believed what I believed it.
Yeah, and I'll call you gay.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like even like you're never going to hear me say something that I don't believe. Now, will I stay there? Probably not, because I'm always taking in new information.
You're allowed to.
And I allow myself to grow and evolve, unlike so many other motherfuckers out here who get stuck in a caricature.
Yep.
They're afraid to pivot. They're afraid to grow. They're afraid to evolve. They just spend their whole life virtue signaling for a bunch of motherfuckers who never come.
And
you
now,
ever realize that?
Yeah, I do.
It's like putting the Batman sign in the air, and that motherfucker never comes to fight Joker. Never, ever.
And now you censored by your own audience. You're talking all this free speech shit, but you can't even have your own opinion. You got to make sure your opinion lines up with your own audience. If you're going to be censored by your own audience, just get a job at Comedy Central.
Get a job
at CBS. Get a job at someone who's going to dictate what you can or can't say. What's the point of being an independent content creator if you can't do the things you want independently?
I will say this, though. I'm glad you brought that up. There is a misconception that people in corporate America have people telling them what to say. And there's also a misconception that people online are free. And what I mean by that is there's people on these networks, not a lot of them, but there's people that are willing to take these risks, right, that work for corporate America. And then there's people who have the independent platforms who at the first sign of some outrage, the first sign of a threat of demonetization, the first sign of a lawsuit. That's what I'm saying. So who's really free? Freedom is just being free and not being scared.
Freedom is being yourself.
Being your fucking self.
Sometimes yourself is going to piss people off. Sometimes it might upset your fan base, but if they actually fuck with you for you, not because you're a voice for the things they already feel, like they know you as you,
yes,
they'll be upset at you and then they'll be like, all right, but I like that other shit.
I don't.
You know what's crazy? Is this is also not true because if that were the case, you could do whatever you want and not lose your fan base. Why isn't everyone a superstar? You know, that tried, right? It's not true. You can lose fan bases. You can lose everything, just like his Flagrant podcast is as we speak. So it's just kind of crazy that these guys ignore analytics, statistics, all of this stuff, because they want to have an ego. They don't want to have values. And look, we could all be wrong, because it seems like the world, those that are in power and those that are ultra value, these are the values of this. This is what we're seeing here. But the problem is Andrew is learning fans, but he's acting like he's ascending to that next stage, and he's adopting their values of careless, reckless, Don't give a shit about nobody. Do what I want. Fuck everybody below me. It doesn't matter what happens to them as long as I get paid. But here's the thing, is we will see Andrew Schulz be humbled because his numbers are going down. His numbers are going down drastically on the Flagrant podcast, and we might be seeing Andrew speaking a different song soon.
I don't like when I know exactly how a motherfucker.
It's boring.
I'm like, all right, I already know what that person gonna do. I know what that person gonna do. Like, who's out there really just sitting back looking at things from an objective viewpoint? Like, 'cause even with the Saudi shit, I don't think anybody sat back and looked at it from an objective viewpoint. First thing I thought to myself was, okay, what are they mad about exactly? Why can't you perform in Saudi Arabia? Because I'm so confused that y'all let all of the sports people go over there, right? There's entertainers that's been going over there getting checked. Why is all of a sudden the comedians getting backlash? And it's not like Saudi just got in the game. Saudi been around for a decade plus dropping bags on shit. They just bought EA fucking Sports.
So that's the beautiful thing. You better stop playing.
Also, uneducated. Yes, I think a lot of the biggest one has been boxing in the UFC, and there was some backlash, but I think most people just wanted to see fights, and Saudi's making great fights, right? They're making great fights. So the boxing world didn't care because it's been rigged. These big fights haven't been happening, and now we're seeing Canelo and Crawford, and people just don't generally care. But once again, EA Sports, if you're in the gaming world, which I happen to be in, EA did have some backlash. Even Asmongold said, oh, EA is finished. It's over. There was backlash for that. There was backlash for golf. And there's been backlash for some other things. But I think a lot of people look at boxing and the UFC because it's generally people don't give a fuck. In fact, Tom Aspinall is fighting in Abu Dhabi, right? The UFC embeddeds are coming on, and that fight, I believe, is this weekend. If it's a UFC embedded week, there's a fight on Saturday, which will be in Saudi Arabia. But people want to see Aspinall and Cyril Gane go at it, and that's just how it is. It's different. And I asked the same question. Why not boxing? But if you look at it, I don't know. Question, right? But that would be my guess.
FIFA. If I catch you playing FIFA, you better catch. If I catch you playing
FIFA for fun, Madden.
Madden. If I catch you playing any of these games, bro, you a sellout. Why you selling out?
NBA 2K.
Oh, man,
wow.
This is what I'm saying. It's like all these comedians.
I don't play those kind of games. Just saying.
It's like put their drew a line in the sand or whatever. They put their foot down. It's like you're gonna now have to pass that purity test over the next few years, and people are gonna remember you said this.
Let's look this up. Let's see what Saudi Arabia. What is it, Riyadh?
And you know what? Okay, I will take the Saudi Arabia purity test and add it to my profile, because if at some point I did go to Saudi Arabia and they offered me a buttload of money. If that was the case and I said, fuck it, I want that buttload of money, right? I would say, I took the money, guys. I took the money. But I don't see myself getting any deals from Saudi Arabia, so I'll take that purity test, that one. But please, if I need to excuse another purity test, I've never admitted I'm perfect. And I've said I'm a failure many times. So don't hold me to it. Give me a purity test hall pass if I need one. I'm just saying.
Who is it? Is it
Riyadh.
Riyadh? What has Saudi? Let's.
Charlemagne.
What am I saying wrong?
Charlemagne get his.
Saudi. What
Saudi
has
Arabia.
Arabia and Riyadh? What is it? How you spell it?
Riyadh.
And Riyadh invested in America.
We're going to end it right there. I mean, they're everywhere. I also said this too. I have said all the things that they said we weren't saying, which, I'm a small YouTuber, so, it didn't catch their satellite dish, right? For fame. They're too famous for me. But I brought up all those points. I always try to be fair, and I go against my audience, and I go against, I even give credit to these people when they do good things. But at the end of the day, this guy is lying to you. I've broken it down. I have provided you with facts. And Andrew has yet to address any of the actual complaints. He's dodged and avoided that. He has done nothing but blame everybody else. And most of all, he's done nothing but lie. And also, please, if you make it this far, please share. Please, let me get more views than these guys. Come on, share it so the message gets out. And hopefully, wouldn't you guys like to see a Lion Meows versus Andrew Schulz beef? I would just sit there and let him talk and then point out all his lies. That's my strategy at the moment. But let's go. Thank you. Let me know what you think about all this mess of Andrew Schulz in the comments. Peace.
Do you like to bang? Don't stay.